Well, as I promised, today's subject on Dig In is going to be raised garden beds. And this is for flowers and vegetables alike. Now, the first question most people ask me is, why raised beds? What's such a big deal about raised beds? Why not just plant in the ground? Well, not everybody has that option. Now, I went out and found a number of different raised beds at the local garden centers. They're all fairly inexpensive. They're easy to put together, no tools required, no skill required. You just, in this case of this little round one, you snap it together and fill it up with potting soil. This one here, this one just works together at the corner here. These little brackets, they slide in and out, just like that. I found this cool little guy from Easy Gardener that doesn't look like much this way, but when you open it out, you've got a raised planter that's up nice and high where you don't even have to bend over to do your gardening. And it even has a little drainage tube at the bottom to take excess water away. Nice thing about this one is it can fold up again at the end of the season and you can store it in the garage and it's out of the way. If you want to go for something a little bit sturdier, I like this Easy Garden box. Comes in a box that looks just like this. It's a 4x4. It's nice and deep. This is the side panel right here. And as you can see, it's corrugated metal here. This isn't going to go away. This is a long-term product. Comes with its own side posts where they just slide into place. And in no time at all, you've got a 4x4 raised bed that will last a lifetime. Now, how do you put these things together? Well, I've just laid them out here temporarily, but if you're going to put them in your own yard, you'd want to level an area so your frames are nice and level so the water stays in the raised bed. Now, there's one rule of thumb that you need to keep in mind, and that is with an open bed like this, you want to dig up the existing native soil and then get yourself a good quality raised bed mix or a potting mix. Not topsoil. These are not to be filled with topsoil. That doesn't work. You want a planter's mix. In this case, Soil Mender has come out with a product called Raised Bed Mix. It's very obvious what it's for. And with this stuff, you just take it right out of the bag, pour it into your raised bed, and before you fill it all the way up, I like to spread out a small layer, a shallow layer, and then work that into the existing native soil. So there's a transition between your new soil and your native soil, and that will allow the roots and the water to penetrate right down on through and giving you an even deeper rooting zone. Now, if you want to do something a little bit more permanent, maybe a little deeper, let's go over to my neighbor's house, Diane, and she's got some things set up over there that I think you'll want to see. Well, here we are across the street of my neighbor's house, and I've set out some wooden planters here for you to take a look at. These are all built of cedar, which means that they're not going to rot very quickly. This one here, right here, I've got it set on grass. Now, of course, you'd want to kill the grass and remove the sod before you fill it up with a planter's mix. Now, if you don't have floor space, so to speak, to put these things in, then you can do a raised planter that doesn't require any ground soil at all. This has a bottom in it, and you just fill it up with potting soil or planter's mix and plant away. And finally, this I think is my favorite, is right over here. Now you can sit and do your gardening right here on either side. Makes it much easier, much more relaxing. So coming up next, we're going to be talking about some warm season vegetables, vegetables you plant after the last frost. And there's a group of people who are bringing some old varieties of tomatoes back from obscurity. You'll want to check this out.
Howdy, this is Chef Mick from Tony's Markets. Today we're going to take the radishes out of your garden and make them into something wonderful.